Hey everybody, my name is Piers Fawkes, and today we're going to talk about this concept called flood the channels and how we can use AI technology to really enhance post-event engagement. I'm going to talk about my experience working with my Eventmind content generation tool, my experience running events through PSFK, and talk about the opportunities that we have to engage audiences during and after events. So I want to kind of start with a story because this phrase "flood the channels" is something that's new to me. I'm sure that as creative marketers, you're all aware of this phrase, but for me, I was quite new to it. And it only came to me, I came from a conversation. I was pitching a big media company in Hollywood about, can you use my service? And the executive there was talking to me about what happens. She runs social media content, and one of her projects is red carpet content when the movie stars will come up for an event, which sounds so exciting, especially for my world. But for her, it was super, super stressful, these red carpets. Um, and I was like, as a social media manager, this is how amazing it must have been. You have 20 celebrities, this talent walking up and down a carpet, taking pictures for brands. So most brands, you don't even have that luxury. It's so difficult to even get talent. I have the budget for talent. So where's the stress? And she said, Piers, you don't understand. I don't know of all these 20 clips, which are going to go viral. And we don't know which one's going to actually make the whole effort on all this production worth it. So it made me think about her approach and how she floods the channels. And flood the channel is getting as much content out there as possible. Let's take a step back and just talk a little bit about why events are so stressful. So like red carpets, all events, whether B2B events, whether they're B2C events and everything in between, they're high stakes opportunities. Unlike advertising and other broader forms of marketing, you only have a certain amount of people that you're trying to maximize that moment and maximize what might happen beyond that. There's a lot of uncertainty that kind of comes into live events, but we all know that our live events are amazing. The face-to-face interaction beat banner ads. I'm looking at that phrase banner ads. I'm like, does anybody use that phrase banner ads anymore? Probably not. Cold calls, or even everyone talks about these cool chatbots that are emotionally in touch with you. But we all know that the AI chatbots, the most of us do anyway, and they're not going to replace the human experience because events create stronger connections, memorable experiences. When they work, they're higher return on investment. I probably don't need to tell any of you folks this in terms of the importance of these events. Yeah. The challenge, as I see and what I've learned over the last year, and actually I come from a B2B background. I ran a research business for 20 years. And so I was running events and attending events and things like that, is that there's a contrast between what the event producer wants and what the partner wants or the sponsor wants with events. Yeah. And rarely both sides of that equation are fully satisfied. Yeah. It's high stakes for the brand who comes along. We have limited budgets. There's only so much we want to spend. We can even convince our marketing chiefs about how much money we can spend at events. And there's kind of misalignment, especially around this idea of the producer of the event very focused on the day of, and a lot of focus on the audience. They do spotlight sponsors, of course. Obviously, sponsors is the business for many event producers. But it seems a little bit like I use that word spotlight as a phrase rather than an immersion or a really kind of strategic partnership. And of course, partners like yourselves, like the brands on the call, they're thinking about the KPIs. They're thinking about what leads we're going to get from this event. What brand awareness? What's the lift? What's going to be said on social media? Yeah. I don't know about you, but I have been that person in the booth in that picture by myself with no one coming by after this bunch of money and wondering whether it was all worth it. And I think I'm not alone. And I think one of the big challenges is the day of event focus problem. Okay. So event producers see the event as the climax of the event. Obviously, they have spent 3 months, 6 months working to this day. Okay. And then all you get is especially if you're in the B2B space, you get some booths, you get a speaker session, okay? You get a speaker session, guess what happens? Everybody knows you're the sponsor and everybody starts looking at their phone. Yeah. And there's some signage and there's mixes and variations of these deals. I'm sure some of you have to do far more complex things than this, but this is a kind of typical sort of sponsor package as far as I see it. And we all know that event producers, what happens with event producers at the end of their day, they all go to the bar or they all take 2 weeks vacation. And in fact, the problem is that this actually is the moment of launch for a campaign, not the end of a campaign or the moments of the campaign. So there's a kind of challenge because there's great opportunity for brands and marketers to take advantage of events, but not only on the day off. So what happens next right now is you get some sort of white paper or you get some wrap-up posts. There are some videos of the content. I don't know about you, but the last time I watched an event conference video was in 2014. Remember when TED was cool? We were all watching TED conference videos. I haven't watched a conference video ever since, and I don't think anybody else does. So there's no point having your logo on a 20-minute video because it doesn't make sense if no one is watching. So, and then the other big thing is you have to wait until the team have come back. But you, as a sponsor, as a partner, you want to start posting the day off. You want to post that evening. You want to post the next day. You want to start sharing this stuff. You not only want to post straight away, but you also want to create a program that lasts until your next big tentpole event as well. Okay. So because of those challenges, we built Eventmind, okay, which is, it's an event creation tool. At the simplest, it takes the talks, it takes conference talks, it takes other content, audio, video, transcript, whatever you want to give us, or you can upload to the system. You press a few buttons and within minutes, it generates blog posts, newsletters, Twitter posts, LinkedIn updates, wrap-ups in your voice. And we give drafts that your team takes and then they can post that content, okay? And you can't, it's not, and I'm sure some of you folks are already using these tools. You're already transcribing content. You're already asking ChatGPT, hey, what are the main points? Can you summarize this? Okay. We're not doing some of those things that you're doing, but what we've done is we've created agents that string this all together so you can process hundreds of talks in minutes. So here's my little kind of salesy slides. Eventmind has been running since the start of the year. I've been running AI projects for about 3 years, the generative AI projects. We've had a lot of success. Especially with advertising related events, we've shown up. I've had lots of conversations with the ANA about running an ANA. Maybe, Anna, we should run the talks today through the tool as well. Yeah. And also brands. So SAP, their associations use the tool to create content as well. Okay. And so when we talk about shareable content, what does that mean? And what it means is a mix of content that could be LinkedIn posts, newsletters, blog articles, like Forbes style articles. It can be PowerPoint decks. And in the next 2-3 months, there'll be more video content. There's folks at 11 Labs, which is an AI production company, have new audiobook tools. So we can output into 11 Labs. We can output into Canva. We can output into Adobe Premiere. And so that your editing team has a draft, a kind of sizzle reel of the content. Okay. Today we output into Word and Google Docs and all that sort of thing. And so a 40 talk event could generate 250 to 300 pieces of content. And we're kind of charging at $75 a piece of content. So the top end starts to get expensive. But if you think about how much it would cost to actually get humans to do that work, I think it's quite cheap. But I would. I see Anna laughing. So let's go back to that red carpet dilemma. Yeah. So my friends, the social media executive who works in the Hollywoods, which clip is going to go viral? And so her response to that is, let's put all the clips out there. And I think we need to realize that there is the algorithm and we are faced with the algorithm. We all know this, but sometimes we still spend a lot of time crafting the perfect blog post or article or press release when in fact the algorithm is going to be the final judge and decider about whether that content is good or not. And so it's important actually we think about quantity rather than perfection. Okay. because once it leaves, well, often it's outside our control. So to stand up, is maximize the content output. Of course, think about quality, think about your tone of voice, think about your brand image, but let the algorithm do the rest. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to think about flooding the channels, how to create event content. If you use AI tools, whether you use Eventmind or you use other tools, how you can beg, borrow, barter, and steal to take advantage and maximize the impact that you have at events. Okay. So we're talking about beg. One of my recommendations is about when you work out sponsorship agreements, partnership agreements with events, think about what is the content program. Now these tools are available. A program of content that runs immediately for a number of months until your next tempo should be agreed. We're talking about the event producer creating the content and then associating your brand with that content, giving you kind permission to share it. Yeah. But borrow, we're like, give me the collateral, give me the brand, the collateral, and I'm going to work on content. Now, if you think about conferences, very easy to transcribe today. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you publish the transcripts, and it's partly because no one wants to read them. Partly there's a sort of intellectual murkiness in terms of copyright ownership. But once you have that transcript, you can create journalistic content based on that transcript. We talked about it. Put it into ChatGPT. What's this story about? Help me write an article, write it in my tone, and things like that. So ask the organizer to give you a package of transcripts within 24 hours of the event closing, okay? And so that you can get on and actually share content and talk about how exciting it was to partner with this event and be part of it. And then you can be in control of your content program. The barter is a little bit about, could you negotiate fees when you say, listen, I'm not, and maybe some of you are already doing this, but I'm actually going to put marketing dollars behind the content pieces. And so therefore I want to reduce my sponsorship to fees because I'm actually doing us all a favor. And then steal. So some of you folks sometimes might do more guerrilla, grassroots type content, events and content. Events like South by Southwest publish their feeds within about 24 hours, okay? It's there but like 200 talks. You can pull those talks down. And like I did earlier this year, I created 1,000-page deck, which is a bit mental, but a large deck which summarized all the different talks that took place and a point of view about all those different talks. And so you're basically commenting and providing commentary about an event that you want to align to, but you didn't manage to sponsor. So I appreciate that. I've done this at pace, I know, Anna, but I'm happy to take some questions or allow you to talk amongst yourselves about this idea of using AI tools to flood the channels. Thanks.
Thank you, Piers. Thanks for your presentation.